Earth's merciless retaliation leaves the Galactic Council speechless. Admiral Rowan Hale stood on the bridge of the ESS Parallax, his steel-gray eyes locked on the star field beyond the viewport. His short-cropped silver hair caught the dim light of the control panels, and his weathered navy coat hung heavy with the weight of command. He crushed the hollow projection in his fist, the Thran Dominion's decree dissolving into sparks. This wasn't just a threat, it was a test. The Galactic Council, perched on Thran Prime's gilded spires, thought humanity would kneel. They were wrong. On Earth, President Sloan Reeve paced a sleek war room, her sharp features framed by close-cropped dark hair. Her tailored suit moved with her, a symbol of unyielding resolve. No evacuation, no surrender, she declared to a council of grim faces. The room, buried beneath Geneva's reinforced bunkers, hummed with quiet defiance. Screens glowed with tactical maps of Arcadia 4, New Thessaly, and Orison 7, colonies that looked like sleepy farms but hid teeth of steel. Sloane's voice carried no doubt. Humanity had bled to carve homes from barren rock. They wouldn't give them up. Mira Jensen, captain of the Parallax, stood on Arcadia 4's surface, her red hair blazing under the colony's artificial sun. Her flight jacket, patched from years of skirmishes, clung to her lean frame as she addressed her crew. "We turned this dust ball into gardens," she said, her voice fierce. "No one's taking it." The crew cheered, their boots kicking up dust around terraform fields. Behind the rows of greenhouses, hidden hatches concealed weapons that could crack a cruiser's hull. Mira's reckless grin hid a knot of doubt, but her crew didn't need to see it. Not yet. Theo Kincaid, intelligence chief, hunched over a console in the Parallax ops room. His sharp eyes, framed by wire-thin glasses, darted across encrypted data streams. His rumpled jacket betrayed sleepless nights chasing ghosts. A Thran transmission, half decoded, hinted at a shadow within humanity's ranks. "Something's off," he muttered, fingers flying over the interface. The ultimatum's phrasing didn't match council protocol. It felt like a setup, but by whom? He flagged the anomaly for Sloan, his gut screaming of a deeper game. Beneath Arcadia 4's surface, vast caverns hummed as fortress systems powered up. Polished alloy walls reflected the glow of plasma conduits, their low thrum a heartbeat of war. Ivy Cho, cyber warfare expert, danced her fingers across a hollow panel, her sarcastic smirk lighting up her face. Her black hoodie, emblazoned with a neon circuit pattern, clashed with the sterile command center. "Plasma grid's hot," she said, voice dripping with glee. The network, spanning 12,000 kilometers, could scramble sensors and turn enemy fleets blind. She ran a test pulse, and the monitors flickered with false signatures. "Oh, they're gonna hate this." General Elias Ward, his scarred face unreadable, stood on New Thessaly's command deck. His gray fatigues blended into the steel surrounding as he studied scout drone feeds. The Thran fleet's formation, rigid as a textbook, drifted 1.2 million kilometers out. "Predictable," he grunted, marking their positions. His drones, small as pebbles, wove through asteroid fields, mapping every cruiser. Elias didn't smile. He didn't need to. The Thran were walking into a trap they couldn't see. On Orison 7, Dana Whitaker inspected rail lance batteries hidden beneath agricultural domes. Her disciplined stride matched her crisp uniform, her dark skin catching the glow of control screens. The rail lances, disguised as irrigation towers, could fire 50-ton slugs at speeds that shredded armor. She checked their alignment, her hands steady. "Ready," she reported to Hale. The domes, surrounded by fields of engineered wheat, looked peaceful. That was the point. The Thran wouldn't suspect a thing. The colonies moved in quiet unison, their defiance masked as compliance. Cargo ships loaded with evacuation supplies carried Sable drones, self-destructing weapons primed for chaos. Underground bunkers powered up shield generators, their hum vibrating through rock. On the Parallax, Rowan Hale watched the starfield, his mind a chessboard. "They think we're farmers," he said to Mira, his voice low. Let's show 'em our harvest. Mira nodded, her grin sharp. Gonna be a hell of a show, sir. The Thran fleet loomed, a constellation of 84 heavy cruisers glinting 1.2 million kilometers from Orison 7. Their rigid formation screamed arrogance, blind to the jaws closing around them. General Elias Ward stood on New Thessaly's command deck, his scarred face lit by tactical displays. He tapped a comm, his voice gravelly but calm. Council, this is Ward. We need 6 more hours to evac. A lie smooth as steel. The Thran bit, tightening their formation, sensors scanning for fleeing colonists. Elias smirked, just a flicker. His drones fed real-time data showing the enemy drifting into a kill zone. He sent the signal to Ivy Cho. In Arcadia 4's underground command center, Ivy Cho leaned over her holo panel, her fingers a blur. Phantom Veil's alive, boys, she said, her sarcasm sharp as a blade. The plasma grid hummed, its 12,000-kilometer web pulsing with interference. False signatures bloomed on Thran sensors, refugee convoys, ghost fleets, chaos. Ivy chuckled. They're seeing a whole damn armada out there. Her hoodie's neon circuits glowed as she tweaked the grid, making the phantoms dance. The Thran ships slowed, confused, ripe for the trap. Mira Jensen gripped the parallax helm, her red hair tied back, eyes locked on the tactical feed. Cho, make 'em see a dreadnought on their flank, she said, voice steady but itching for action. The bridge buzzed, crew members darting between stations in the ship's sleek, silver-walled interior. Mira's flight jacket creaked as she leaned forward. Come on, you bastards, take the bait. The Thran cruisers shifted, chasing shadows. She glanced at Admiral Hale, who nodded. Time to tighten the noose. Cade Mercer, commando leader, prepped his team in the parallax launch bay. His broad frame filled his stealth suit, his shaved head gleaming under harsh lights. Sable drones are hot, he grunted, checking the cargo containers. Each held 200 self-destructing drones, 10 kilograms of explosives apiece. We hit 'em hard, fast, like steel wasps. His team, grim and loyal, loaded the containers onto stealth shuttles. Cade's eyes burned with focus. The Thran wouldn't know what hit them. Dana Whitaker stood on Orison 7, her boots planted in a fake irrigation tower. The rail lance inside, a beast of polished alloy, could fire 50-ton slugs at blinding speed. She ran diagnostics, her disciplined hands steady. Batteries primed, she reported, her voice crisp over the comm. The dome's wheat field swayed outside, a perfect lie. Dana's dark eyes narrowed. Just give the word, Admiral. She pictured the slugs tearing through Thran hulls. Patience was her weapon for now. Theo Kincaid, in the parallax ops room, frowned at his console. A Thran transmission intercepted mid-battle prep mentioned a deal with humans. What the hell, he muttered, adjusting his glasses. The words Axiom Directorate flickered in the decrypt. A human faction? Colluding with the Thran? He flagged it for Hale, his mind racing. This ain't just war, he said to himself. It's a damn setup. The ultimatum's cracks were showing, but he needed more time. Rowan Hale on the parallax bridge studied the Thran formation. Expose one rail lance, Whitaker, he ordered, his voice cold as space. Let's see how they flinch. Dana complied, a single irrigation tower on Orison 7 splitting open, its rail lance glinting. The Thran fleet froze. High Marshal Dravet's voice crackled over open comms. Confirm evacuation visuals, now. Hale's lips twitched. They're nervous, he said to Mira. Good. Mira's fingers hovered over the helm controls. They're sitting ducks, sir. Can we hit 'em? Her reckless streak begged to pounce, but Hale shook his head. Not yet. Let Cho's ghosts do their work. The plasma grid's illusions multiplied, Thran's sensors drowning in fake signals. Mira's pulse raced. Come on, Cho. Make 'em sweat, she whispered. The bridge was silent, the crew holding their breath. High Marshal Dravet's demand echoed again, sharper. Visuals or we fire. Ivy snorted, tweaking the grid. Oh, you'll see something, pal. A phantom convoy appeared, luring the Thran deeper into the trap. Elias Ward watched his feeds, his scarred face unyielding. They're in range, Ron, he said to Hale. Ready when you are. Aboard the Thran command ship, Junior Officer Vrenthal clutched his console, his scaled fingers trembling. The sensor array screamed with thousands of human ships, their signatures swarming like locusts across a 3 million-kilometer radius. Hi, Marshal! We're surrounded! He gasped, his voice cracking. The bridge, a cavern of dark metal and pulsing red lights, buzzed with panic. Vren's wide amber eyes darted to High Marshal Dravet, whose towering frame loomed over the command dais. Dravet's claws clicked in irritation. Impossible. Humans don't have that many ships. But doubt crept into his growl. Ivy Cho in Arcadia 4's command center grinned like a kid pulling a prank. Oh, they're freaking out, she said, her neon hoodie glowing as she cranked the plasma grid's output. The network's pulses scrambled Thran navigation, turning their sensors into a mess of ghosts. False dreadnoughts blinked in and out, taunting the enemy. Ivy tapped her comm. Mira, they're as blind as bats. Want more chaos? Her fingers danced, sending another wave of fake signatures. The Thran fleet, 84 cruisers strong, floundered in the dark. Donna Whitaker on Orison 7 gave the order. Fire Rail Lance 1. A camouflaged dome split open, and a 50-ton slug screamed out at relativistic speed. The projectile punched through a Thran frigate's hull, tearing it like paper. Sparks and debris bloomed in the void. Dana's crisp uniform stayed pristine as she monitored the shot's path. Direct hit, she said, voice steady. Battery 2 prepped for volley. Her rail lances, hidden under wheat fields, hummed with power, ready to unleash hell. Cade Mercer's stealth shuttle slipped through the chaos, cloaked against the Thran's faltering sensors. Go! 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 He barked, leading his commandos through a breached docking bay on Dravet's command ship. Their stealth suits shimmered, blending with the ship's dark corridors. Sable drones, 200 strong, launched from their containers, each packed with 10 kilograms of explosives. The drones swarmed like wasps, slamming into Thran armor with fiery bursts. Cade's team moved fast, mag rifles ready, cutting through stun guards toward the bridge. Mira Jensen yanked the Parallax's helm, dodging a wild Thran plasma barrage. The bridge's sleek consoles flashed red as alerts blared. Hold tight, she shouted, her red hair slipping from its tie. The ship rolled, skimming Orison 7's asteroid belt. Thran counterfire grazed the hull, but Mira's reckless maneuvers kept them alive. Cho, keep those ghosts up, she snapped. Her crew clung to their stations, faces pale but focused. Mira's grin was feral. She lived for this. Vrenthal, on the Thran bridge, slammed his console. Ghost signatures everywhere, sir, he yelled to Dravet. The High Marshal roared, slamming a claw on his dais. Find the real ships! But the plasma grid's interference drowned their systems. Vren's scales paled as another frigate exploded on the main screen. Rail lance slugs tearing through its core. We're surrounded, he whispered, his voice lost in the chaos. The crew scrambled, their rigid training crumbling under the human ambush. Rowan Hale watched the battle from the Parallax bridge, his steel-gray eyes cold. Cho, double the interference, he ordered. Ivy complied, her grid pulses paralyzing Thran comms. Their fleet, once a disciplined wall, scattered like spooked fish. Hale's voice cut through the bridge's hum. Whitaker, second volley, now! Dana's rail lances fired, slugs ripping through 3 more cruisers. The Thran's formation broke, ships drifting aimlessly. Hale's lips twitched. They're ours. Theo Kincaid in the ops room cracked another Thran transmission. His glasses glinted as he traced the ultimatum source. Axiom Directorate, he muttered. Humans selling us out. The decrypted fragment confirmed collusion with Thran arms dealers. Theo's fingers flew, compiling evidence for Ambassador Quinn. "This changes everything," he said, his voice tight. "The war wasn't just against the Thran, it was against traitors within." Mira pushed the parallax into a tight dive, evading another plasma burst. "Damn, they're still shooting," she growled, her hands steady on the controls. The Thran's desperation fueled her fire. "Cho, make 'em see a whole fleet on their tail." Ivy's phantoms multiplied, driving the Thran into deeper panic. Vrenthal's voice broke over their comms, intercepted by Ivy. "We can't hold! Retreat!" Mira Jensen's hands gripped the parallax's helm, her knuckles white. Her crew's trust burned in her chest, their lives riding on her reckless calls. Doubt flickered. Could she pull this off? She shoved it down, her red hair loose and wild, and focused on the tactical feed. The Thran fleet, now 47 ships, reeled under the plasma grid's illusions. Mira's heart pounded, but her voice stayed sharp. "Cho, keep those ghosts dancing." This was her moment. Failure wasn't an option. Cade Mercer stormed the Thran command ship's bridge, his stealth suit flickering as he moved. His mag rifle hummed, cutting down 2 guards in a flash of muzzle fire. "Secure the dais!" he barked. His commandos fanned out, their boots silent on the dark metal floor. High Marshal Dravet, towering and scaled, roared defiance, but Cade's team was faster. Mag cuffs snapped onto Dravet's wrists, his claws useless. "You're done, big guy," Cade growled, his shaved head gleaming with sweat. The bridge fell quiet, Thran officers frozen in shock. Ivy Cho's fingers flew across her hollow panel in Arcadia 4's command center. "Let's mess with their heads," she said, her smirk wicked. She hacked the Thran comms, broadcasting fake surrender signals. "This is Thran Command. Stand down." The enemy fleet hesitated, their sensors still choked by the plasma grid's pulses. 60% of their targeting systems were offline, ships firing blindly into the void. Ivy's neon hoodie glowed as she leaned back. "Like shooting fish in a barrel," she muttered, amplifying the grid's 12,000-kilometer reach. Dana Whitaker, on Orison 7, unleashed a synchronized rail lance volley. The hidden batteries, disguised as irrigation towers, spat 50-ton slugs at relativistic speed. Each shot tore through Thran's shields, hulls crumpling like foil. Dana's dark eyes tracked the impacts on her console, her crisp uniform steady as she issued commands. "Battery 3, adjust 2 degrees. Fire." Another cruiser shattered, debris scattering across the stars. Her voice stayed calm. "Keep it tight, people." The wheat fields outside her dome swayed, hiding the war machine beneath. Elias Ward in New Thessaly deployed decoy drones mimicking human warships. "Draw their fire," he ordered, his scarred face unyielding. The drones darted through the asteroid belt, pulling Thran plasma barrages away from the parallax. His tactical feed showed the enemy's chaos, ships colliding, comms scrambled. Elias grunted, satisfied. "They're breaking," he said to Hale. His gray fatigues blended with the command deck steel, his presence a quiet anchor in the storm. Mira pushed the parallax into a high-risk slingshot around Orison 7's moon. "Hold on!" she shouted, the ship groaning as it skimmed the moon's jagged surface. A Thran plasma barrage grazed the hull, lights flickering on the bridge. Her crew braced, faces pale but steady. Mira's grin flashed. "That's it. Keep shooting at nothing." The maneuver bought them seconds, enough to reposition for Ivy's next grid pulse. Her doubt was gone, burned away by the thrill of survival. Theo Kincaid in the Parallax Ops room confirmed the Axiom Directorate's betrayal. His glasses glinted as he pieced together intercepted data. "Thran arms dealers and human traders," he muttered. "They forged the damn ultimatum." His dossier for Ambassador Quinn grew, each fragment damning. Theo's rumpled jacket hung loose as he worked, his sharp eyes burning. "We're not just fighting aliens," he said to himself. "We're cleaning house." He sent the evidence to Hale, the truth a weapon sharper than any rail lance. Rowan Hale on the Parallax Bridge watched the Thran fleet's retreat. "Whitaker, one more volley," he ordered, his steel-gray eyes cold. Dana's rail lances fired, shredding two more cruisers. The enemy, down to 47 ships, fled toward Thran Prime in disarray. Hale's voice cut through the bridge's hum. "Mira, pursue. Keep the pressure on." Mira nodded, her pulse racing. "You got it, sir. Let's chase him home." The Parallax surged forward, its sleek hull cutting through the void. Ivy's fake surrender signals looped, sowing panic. "They're eating it up," she said, her voice gleeful. The plasma grid pulsed, a web of light across the stars, paralyzing Thran's sensors. Cade's team secured the command ship, dragging Dravate to a shuttle. "Move it, people!" he snapped. The Thran bridge, once a fortress, was theirs. Mira's pride swelled, her fear buried. "We're not done yet." The ESS Parallax, flanked by 12 human cruisers, tore through the void on a 4.2 billion kilometer sprint to Thran Prime. The stars streaked past, a silent promise of reckoning. Mira Jensen leaned into the helm, her red hair damp with sweat, her flight jacket creased from hours of battle. The bridge's consoles glowed, casting sharp shadows across her determined face. "We're going right to their doorstep," she said, her voice low but electric. The Thran thought they could run. She'd prove them wrong. Mira triggered the plasma grid surges, sending pulses rippling across 500,000 kilometers. Thran Prime's orbital defenses, rings of sleek, spiked satellites, flickered and died, their sensors choked by the grid's interference. On the planet below, Thran civilians whispered of a human star-killer weapon, the grid's eerie pulses lighting up their skies like auroras. Mira's lips curled. "Let 'em panic," she muttered. Her crew exchanged glances, their trust in her reckless edge unshaken. The Parallax held steady, a spear aimed at the heart of Thran power. In Arcadia 4's command center, Dana Whitaker prepped ground-based rail lances for orbital support. Her crisp uniform was pristine, her dark eyes scanning tactical feeds. The batteries, still hidden under wheat fields, hummed with latent fury. "Ready to back you up, Captain," she said over the comm, her voice calm but ironclad. Each rail lance could punch through a cruiser's hull, and Dana's disciplined hand kept them primed. She pictured the Thran's orbital docks crumbling under her fire. "Just say the word." Ivy Cho, in her neon hoodie, maintained the Phantom Veil's illusions from Arcadia 4. Her hollow panel danced with false signatures, 300 human warships closing on Thran Prime. "They're seeing ghosts everywhere," she said, her sarcasm biting. The grid's 12,000-kilometer web projected dreadnoughts that didn't exist, forcing Thran ships to scatter. Ivy's fingers twitched, amplifying the deception. "Like herding sheep," she chuckled. Her console sparked, the strain of the grid's output pushing its limits, but she kept it humming. Cade Mercer, aboard a captured Thran shuttle, interrogated High Marshal Dravate. The towering alien scales dulled under mag cuffs, his arrogance cracked. "Talk," Cade growled, his broad frame looming. Dravate's amber eyes narrowed, but he spilled tactical data. 22 reserve vessels hiding near Thran Prime's moon. Cade's shaved head gleamed as he relayed the intel to Hale. "Got their backup plan, sir," he said. His commandos, steely and loyal, guarded the shuttle's dark, clanging hold, ready for the next fight. Elias Ward on New Thessaly orchestrated a feigned retreat. His scarred face studied the tactical feed as decoy drones mimicked a human withdrawal. "Come on, take the bait," he muttered. Thran reinforcements, those 22 vessels, lurched into a second ambush zone, their sensors blind to the trap. Elias's gray fatigues blended with the command deck steel, his calm a counterpoint to the chaos. "They're in position," he reported to Hale. His drones wove through the stars, guiding the enemy to ruin. Theo Kincaid, in the Parallax's ops room, finalized his dossier on the Axiom Directorate. His glasses slipped as he cross-referenced intercepted data, his rumpled jacket a testament to sleepless hours. These traitors sold us out for Thran credits, he said, voice tight. The forged ultimatum was their work, a ploy to spark war. Theo packaged the evidence for Ambassador Eliza Quinn, each file a nail in the directorate's coffin. "This'll burn them," he muttered, sending it to Hale. Rowan Hale on the Parallax Bridge ordered a surgical strike. "Target their comm relays," he said, his steel-gray eyes unyielding. A salvo from the cruisers shattered Thran Prime's relay network, cutting their fleet from Council support. The bridge's sleek walls hummed, the crew moving like a single machine. Hale's voice was ice. "Mira, press the advance." The Parallax surged, its hull slicing through the void, 12 cruisers in tight formation behind it. Mira's hands danced on the helm, her pulse racing. "We're in their backyard now," she said, her grin fierce. The Thran fleet, battered and confused, scrambled to defend their capital. Ivy's illusions kept them guessing, phantom fleets closing in. "Cho, make them see us everywhere," Mira called. The grid pulsed, a web of light across Thran Prime's orbit. The planet's spires gleamed below, a glittering prize. Mira's voice crackled over the comm. "Let's finish this." Eliza Quinn strode into the Galactic Council chamber, her tailored coat sharp against the chamber's opulent curves. Her dark eyes burned with purpose, clutching a dossier that could topple empires. The chamber, a vast dome of pearlescent stone on Thran Prime, hummed with alien voices, clicks, hisses, and murmurs from 100 worlds. Eliza's boots echoed, each step a challenge. The Thran's ultimatum was a lie, and she was here to gut it. A lattice conclave delegate, its crystalline limbs shimmering, leaned forward as Eliza activated her holo display. The forged ultimatum glowed, its origins traced to the Axiom Directorate, a human faction colluding with Thran arms dealers. Gasps rippled through the chamber. The delegates' fast sets pulsed, reflecting shock. "This cannot be," it intoned, its voice a chime. Eliza's lips tightened. "It's real. Check the data." The evidence was ironclad, each transmission a dagger to Thran's credibility. Above Thran Prime, Mira Jensen held the Parallax in a tight orbit. Her red hair clung to her sweat-slicked forehead, her flight jacket creased from gripping the helm. She broadcast a warning across open comms. "Any move against us, and the plasma grid fries your systems." The grid's pulses lit the planet's skies, a 500,000-kilometer web of interference. Thran orbital defenses stayed dark, paralyzed. Mira's crew watched her, their trust unwavering. She grinned, fierce. "Let's keep them scared." Ivy Cho, in Arcadia 4's command center, leaked intercepted Thran arms deals to the Council. Her neon hoodie glowed as she hacked their channels, her smirk sharp. "Look at these greedy bastards," she muttered, sending contracts showing Thran profiteers fueling the war. The Council's holoscreens flickered, exposing the truth. Ivy's plasma grid still projected 300 ghost warships, keeping the Thran fleet down to 32 vessels, pinned. "They're squirming now," she said, tweaking the illusions for maximum panic. Rowan Hale's face appeared via hololink, his steel-gray eyes cold as he addressed the Council. High Marshal Dravet faces trial for his crimes. His navy coat framed a figure carved from resolve, his voice silencing Thran's protests. The chamber's air grew heavy, delegates shifting uncomfortably. A neutral observer from the Kalid system, its bioluminescent skin pulsing, whispered to its aide, "The humans don't need a star killer. This grid is enough." Hale's words landed like blows, demanding justice. The Thran delegates, their scales dull with fury, accused Eliza of fabrication. "Lies to undermine our dominion," one roared, claws slashing the air. But the Aurelian Compact, a coalition of gas giant worlds, withdrew support, their ambassador's voice a low hum. "The ultimatum's illegitimacy is clear." The lattice conclave followed, its delegate dimming in assent. The Thran stood alone, their allies peeling away like leaves in a storm. Eliza's dossier was a blade, and she wielded it without mercy. Mira, orbiting above, pushed the parallax closer to Thran Prime's docks. "Cho, make 'em see a fleet on their northern flank," she ordered. Ivy's illusions bloomed, phantom dreadnoughts closing in. The Thran fleet scrambled, firing at shadows. Mira's voice crackled over the comm. "Stay sharp, people. They're desperate." Her hands danced on the helm, dodging stray plasma bursts. The bridge's sleek consoles flashed, the crew moving like a single pulse. The silence of space felt alive, electric. A neutral observer, its bioluminescent glow steady, marveled at humanity's restraint. "They could have burned Thran Prime," it said to its aide. "Instead, they bring truth." The observer's words echoed the chamber's shift. Eliza activated a hollow simulation, showing the plasma grid's power. Entire fleets paralyzed, sensors blind. The council froze, the weight of humanity's weapons sinking in. Not a star killer, but a system killer, surgical and unstoppable. Ivy's leaked data hit the council like a shockwave. Thran arms deals, signed in secret, glowed on every screen. The chamber erupted in murmurs, and the Thran delegates were cornered. Eliza's voice cut through, calm but lethal. "The Axiom Directorate betrayed us. The Thran profited. This war was built on lies." Her dark eyes swept the room, daring defiance. None came. The council's balance tipped, humanity's hand stronger than ever. Eliza called for a vote on the balance accord. "Recognize our colonies. End this farce." The chamber held its breath, the air thick with tension. Mira, above, watched her sensors, the Thran fleet frozen. Rowan's hololink flickered, his gaze steady. The Galactic Council chamber pulsed with tension, its pearlescent walls catching the glow of holoscreens. The vote flashed, 62-18 for the balance accord, recognizing human colonies as sovereign. Eliza Quinn stood tall, her tailored coat crisp, her dark eyes gleaming with victory. She presented the final blow, evidence of the Axiom Directorate's collapse, its leaders in custody. The chamber's murmurs died, delegates staring at the hollow display. The Thran's forged ultimatum lay bare, a house of lies crumbled. Eliza's voice was steady. "The truth wins." Above Thran Prime, Mira Jensen eased the parallax's helm, her red hair a tangled mess. "Powering down the grid," she said, her voice softer now, a gesture of good faith. The 500,000-kilometer web of interference dimmed, its eerie pulses fading from the planet's skies. Her crew exhaled, the bridge's sleek consoles quieting. Mira's flight jacket hung loose, her reckless edge tempered by the weight of the moment. The Thran fleet, 32 ships left, held position, their sensors still scrambled. They knew they were beaten. High Marshal Dravet, bound in mag cuffs, faced trial in a council holofeed. His scaled frame slumped as he confessed, voice hoarse. "The Axiom Directorate offered us control. We took it." The chamber gasped, Thran delegates shrinking in their seats. Dravet's amber eyes dulled, his arrogance shattered. The arms deals, the forged ultimatum, it was all true. Eliza's dossier, projected across the chamber, sealed his fate. The Thran's leadership was exposed, their dominion cracked. Rowan Hale's hololink flickered in the chamber, his steel-gray eyes piercing. "We don't need annihilation to prove our strength," he said, his navy coat framing a figure of cold resolve. The words landed like a salvo, silencing the last Thran protests. The council's neutral observers nodded, their bioluminescent glow steady. Humanity hadn't burned Thran Prime. They dismantled its lies instead. Hale's voice carried a promise. "We seek peace, but we're ready for war." Dana Whitaker on Orison 7 kept her rail lances hot. Her crisp uniform gleamed under the dome's lights, her dark eyes locked on tactical feeds. The wheat fields outside hid her weapons, a silent threat. "Batteries on standby," she reported, her voice a low hum. The Thran fleet's retreat left Thran Prime exposed, But Dana wasn't taking chances. Her rail lances could still shred any ship that twitched. She stood firm, a guardian of humanity's hard-won ground. Ivy Cho, in Arcadia 4's command center, shut down the phantom veil. "Grid's going dark," she said, her neon hoodie dimming with her console. The 12,000-kilometer arrays powered down, their illusions fading. Ivy leaned back, exhausted but grinning. "We owned 'em," she muttered, her sarcasm softer now. The Thran's sensors cleared, but it was too late. Their fleet, battered and confused, couldn't regroup. Ivy's work had broken their spine. Cade Mercer's commandos secured Thran Prime's orbital docks, their stealth suits glinting in the dark. "No counterattacks today," Cade growled, his shaved head slick with sweat. His team locked down the dock's control hubs, mag rifles ready. The Thran crews surrendered, their claws raised. Cade's loyalty to Hale burned bright. He'd storm a dozen more ships if ordered. The docks, a maze of spiked gantries, were humanity's now. Mira watched the stars from the Parallax Bridge, the silence heavy. Her crew worked quietly, their trust in her unshaken. She'd led them through hell, dodging plasma barrages, chasing ghosts. Now with the accord signed, she felt the weight lift. The Thran fleet stood down, their 32 ships adrift. Mira's voice crackled over the comm. "Good work, everyone. We did it." Her grin was tired but fierce, pride burning through her. Eliza in the chamber finalized the accord's terms. "Humanity's colonies stand," she declared, her voice cutting through the hum. The council's delegates, from crystalline lattice to gaseous Aurelians, signed the hollow document. Humanity was no longer a fringe player, but a galactic power, custodians of the plasma grid. The chamber's air settled, the tension breaking like a wave. Eliza's dark eyes softened, just for a moment. The stars outside gleamed, cold and vast. The accord was sealed, the Thran humbled. Humanity's truth had rewritten the galaxy's rules, and the council knew it. Mira, above, powered down the parallax weapons, her hands steady. The stars gleamed over Arcadia 4, New Thessaly, and Orison 7, now recognized as sovereign hubs housing 8 million human souls. Their terraformed fields and hidden fortresses stood as testaments to defiance, bathed in the quiet glow of victory. The Galactic Council's balance accord had redrawn the galaxy's map, and humanity stood at its center, no longer prey but a power. Rowan Hale stepped onto Earth's command bunker, his navy coat unbuttoned, his steel-gray eyes softer than before. The sterile halls lined with tactical screens felt less cold now. He'd outmaneuvered the Thran, not with destruction, but with truth. His stern face cracked a rare smile as he reviewed reports of the colony's celebrations. Arcadia 4's gardens bloomed brighter, New Thessaly's domes hummed with life, and Orison 7's wheat fields swayed under artificial suns. Hale's work wasn't done, but for now he let the moment sink in. Mira Jensen, back on Arcadia 4, stood atop a greenhouse dome, her red hair catching the artificial dawn. Her flight jacket, patched and worn, hung loose as she watched colonists cheer below. The reckless captain who dodged plasma barrages was now a galactic hero, her doubt burned away by pride. She wasn't the naive pilot who'd once questioned her place. War had forged her into something sharper, unyielding. She spotted Cade Mercer in the crowd, his broad frame towering as he laughed with locals. Mira's grin softened. Maybe there was room for something beyond the fight. Eliza Quinn, in the Galactic Council's chamber, negotiated trade agreements with a flick of her tailored coat. Her dark eyes scanned alien delegates, leveraging the plasma grid's threat for peace. The chamber's pearlescent walls gleamed, a backdrop to her quiet power. "Our colonies are open for trade, not conquest," she said, her voice smooth but firm. The Aurelian Compact and Lattice Conclave nodded, their trust earned. Eliza's diplomacy turned the grid from a weapon into a shield, securing humanity's place among the stars. Theo Kincaid, in a dimly lit ops room, hunted the last Axiom Directorate cells. His rumpled jacket hung off his lean frame, his glasses glinting as he decrypted traitor comms. "No more betrayal," he muttered, his sharp eyes narrowing. His dossier had gutted the directorate, but stragglers lurked. Each cracked signal was a step toward safety. Theo's work, unseen but vital, ensured the colony's future. He leaned back, exhausted but satisfied, the hum of his console a steady heartbeat. Ivy Cho tinkered with the plasma grid in Arcadia 4's command center, aiming for a 15,000-kilometer range. Her neon hoodie glowed under the hollow panel's light, her sarcasm muted by focus. "This baby's gonna keep us safe," she said, tweaking a conduit. The grid's arrays, now dark, had humbled the Thran. Ivy's upgrades would make them untouchable. She grinned, picturing the next fool to test humanity's resolve. The command center's alloy walls vibrated faintly, a reminder of the power she wielded. Dana Whitaker oversaw Orison 7's rail lances, converting them back to farming infrastructure. Her crisp uniform gleamed as she inspected the domes, her dark skin catching the control screen's glow. The 50-ton slugs were stowed, hidden beneath wheat fields once more. "Back to being farmers," she said, her voice dry but proud. Her disciplined hand had kept the Thran at bay, and she'd do it again if needed. The domes stood quiet, their secret strength intact. Cade Mercer trained new commando units on New Thessaly, his shaved head slick as he barked orders. "Move faster," he growled, his stealth suit tight against his broad frame. His team drilled in a cavernous hangar, their mag rifles flashing. Cade's loyalty to Hale and the colonies burned fiercely. He'd storm 100 ships to protect them. The hangar's steel walls echoed with purpose, a promise of readiness for any threat. The Galactic Council's new multipolar order took shape, humanity's voice now central. The chamber's delegates, from crystalline lattice to gaseous Aurelians, respected the plasma grid's custodians. Sloane Reeve in Geneva's war room prepared a broadcast. Her sharp features softened as she spoke, her tailored suit framing a leader tempered by truth. "Wars are born of lies, but peace is built on truth. We fought not to destroy, but to expose. Our colonies stand not as pawns, but as proof of our strength. The galaxy sees us now, and will hold this peace with open hands and steady aim." Mira, watching the broadcast from Arcadia 4, felt the words settle deep. Her reckless heart, once fueled by doubt, now swelled with quiet pride. The stars above burned steadily, a new order dawning. Humanity had won, not with fire, but with clarity. The silence held, profound and gentle, a galaxy reshaped.